Greetings. We continue today our study of the name Jehovah Tsidkenu. This is part 2. We were reviewing the kings of Judah, the two southern tribes. During Jehoiakim's reign, about 605 BC, the first flight of princes, nobles, men of valor, craftsmen, and smiths were taken to Babylonian captivity. Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were in this group. Jehoiachin was an evil king who reigned 3 months. During his brief reign, about 597 BC, the upper and middle classes of the people of Israel were taken to Babylon, except Ezekiel was not taken. Then Zedekiah was an evil king who reigned until 587 BC, when the rest of Judah was taken to Babylon, with the exception of a remnant who were deemed undesirables by the Babylonians. The Babylonian ruler appointed the last 3 kings, Jehoiakim, Jehoiachin, and Zedekiah, and changed their names. The name given to the final king, Zedekiah, is most interesting because Zedekiah means justice of Jehovah, or the Lord is righteous. Jeremiah exposed Zedekiah as being an unrighteous one. Then he prophesied of the true, future, and coming Lord of righteousness. Like Israel before her, Judah's problem was a lack of righteousness. After all, the very reason they were delivered into captivity was their disobedience to God. 1 Corinthians 10:11 declares that this account and other accounts were included to instruct us. And as such, it should serve as a pointed warning to America today. The greatest problem in America today is a lack of true, biblically defined righteousness. Some examples follow. 1, our non-worth ethic. We have people who are able to work and are just not willing to do so. Some would call them lazy and say we're rewarding their laziness. Yet 2 Thessalonians 3:10 says, "For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not could not, but would not work, neither should he eat." Would not work means they were able but not willing. Non-work ethic is not to be decided by safety or popularity or profitability, rather by whether God's word declares it is right or not. 2, gambling. Legalized gambling is an activity which is monitored by the government, and they receive revenue from it. Illegal gambling is an activity which is not monitored by the government, and they do not receive revenue from it. By this definition, the government is not against gambling, only gambling from which they receive no revenue or taxes. So both the non-work ethic and gambling through lotteries, casinos, and betting on sporting events are against the biblical principle of earning your living by the sweat of your brow, as stated in Genesis chapter 3, verses 17 through 19. And said unto Adam, unto him he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake, in sorrow thou shalt eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return unto the ground, for out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return. Number 3, pornography. Pornography continues to be a multi-billion industry in a nation which calls itself a Christian nation, at least traditionally. Pornography promotes every sexual deviant perversion of God's stated plan. Even the sexual exploitation of children is being promoted as normal human behavior. by means of cable networks, dish networks, the internet, smartphones, tablets, and even gaming systems. The devil streams content which harasses the souls of the righteous, as Lot was vexed in 2 Peter 2:8, where it says, "For that righteous man," referring to Lot, "dwelling among them, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them, in seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds."